This is where we need to look at expert versus novice thinking, goals and transfer tasks, and again, as individuals, how do the A, B, and C domains influence and inform us? Expert versus novice thinking. An expert's fluency, their ability to recognize and identify and make connections, it allows the easy retrieval of relevant knowledge through patterns and relationships. The novice is so focused on the discrete elements that they never recognize the connections and the big picture, right? They're trapped in the trees, they never see the forest. Expert knowledge is organized to support use and active engagement, not just recall. Fluency with fundamental patterns frees mental energy to focus on new knowledge to add to patterns. Einstein had 14 of the same suit, and people used to give him a hard time, and he would just laugh and say, I don't want to waste any of my mental energy worrying about what to wear. He saved his mental energy for his thinking about physics. How often do we force not just ourselves but our students to scatter their own mental energy because we're so focused on getting them to give us tons and tons of discrete knowledge that they don't have the opportunity to focus in on the bigger picture and then fill it in with the discrete knowledge once they have the understanding. Can your student answer, what is most important here? How do all these pieces connect? What should I really be paying attention to here? And what are the bottom line priorities? My dear, dear friend Miles, I didn't have many good teachers, so I learned to educate myself. Brilliant quote. An even better quote would be, I had brilliant teachers, and they taught me how to educate myself. So, big ideas. The parachute, the 6 facets, the ropes. If you haven't, go and take a look at this clip from the Paper Clips movie. What we're talking about is having that big parachute concept around which everything we gain can just kind of be gathered and it makes sense and it comes along with us for the ride. The parachute, the big idea, it's broad and it's abstract. It gives us enough scope that all the discrete stuff that we get has room to find its way in comfortably and find a home in there. It's universal in application. Don't try and create a big idea for a unit that is so specific that it can only relate to that topic at that moment in that classroom with that textbook. You'll get to that. Your big idea should be huge and delicious, represented by different examples that share common attributes. This is huge. Again, you don't want something as a big idea that is so specific that the minute the unit is over, it can never be brought up again, because it's done. A big idea should never be done. It can't be a yes or no question. It's a how, or a why, or what could have, or how does this. No yes or no questions. Goals and transfer tasks. Authentic challenges. Go back to Edutopia. Almost every movie that you find that shows students working relates to them having some authentic challenge to do. We all hate busy work. You do. I do. Kids do. Kids want to be adults. They want to do the real work. When we give them real world challenges, they are motivated. They rise to the occasion. They find meaning in what they're doing, and the education becomes personal and meaningful. So success depends upon what? In your assessments, in your learning. What does the success really depend upon? Is it the grade, or is it the demonstration of the doing of the something in the real world? Is it about getting a good grade, or is it about solving a problem, making something better? Again, go Go back to this class. Look at the things that earn you the most points. If I could, there would be no point structure. I'd just say, do the work. We'll work on it several times together, and once it's at a point where I truly recognize you get the concept, boom, you're done. Let's go back to paper clips. What was success in paper clips? What did this come out to be? Was it that the kids learned about the Holocaust and then passed a test on it? Or were they motivated to do something that had meaning, that was bigger than the initial momentary concept of, hey, let's teach tolerance? Miles Horton again. You learn what you do and not what you talk about. So, before you go back to our eCollege chat forum, think about something you have learned to do that you take pride in. Cook, ski, be a great parent. Complete each one of the following and then post your answer. Here's how I explain what I'm proud of, whatever it is. For me, it's skiing. For folks who can't understand why I'm so proud of this, I can interpret my feelings. Skiing is the closest thing to actual freedom. There is that physical sense of just going that I cannot find in any other experience in this world. There's the fresh air, there's the view of the mountains. It's so clean and clear and pure. When I ski, I am using my kinesthetic ability, my balance, what little grace I have. From my perspective, skiing is worthwhile because it is healthy for you, it's fun, it's something you can do alone or with a group of people, and it's a spiritual experience. It allows you to have this just total cleansing of your mind, which is so ironic because after a day of skiing, I'm gross, I'm sweaty, I'm just, ugh. But I feel so refreshed and so clean, so purified. Just all the cobwebs are gone. And there's no better way to spend a day. I always say that the worst day in skis is still better than the best day in shoes. And I mean that. I can empathize with people who can't ski in that my husband is a chef and he loves to cook. And it breaks his heart that I don't enjoy cooking, and truth be told, I'm not a foodie. Give me a bowl of cereal and leave me alone. I can see it really hurts his feelings that I don't share his joy when he has spent umpteen hours putting together some fancy schmancy souffle and made a horrible disaster in the kitchen in the process. It really upsets him. So I can empathize in that. When I try and talk to people about skiing and they poo-poo it, I try and get them to recognize that we're not just talking about being out in the snow and being cold. We're talking about something that's physical and exhilarating and exciting and just fun. I have come to see that skiing has changed me in the following ways. It was the first time I ever felt able to not be a gargantuan klutz. There was something about this particular sport that I picked up immediately, whereas I was an asthmatic kid. I was always the last one picked for all sports teams. I had this vision of myself as just being utterly inept in anything to do with the physical body. And suddenly I discovered something, and I wasn't inept. I had a natural flair for this. And it just boosted my confidence and showed me that maybe I'm not going to be good at everything, but if I keep looking and trying and experiencing, I can find things I really am good at. And that was truly empowering. So, your turn. Go through these 6 sentences. Start with your own thing that you've learned or that you do or whatever it is, something you take pride in, and break it down and share that with us in eCollege.